Is Virgin Galactic about to short squeeze? This is live, unedited, real, ready to go. I'll answer all your questions live, open to everyone. Get ready. Let's take a look at Virgin Galactic. Is it about to short squeeze? Has it already begun? We've been predicting this for a while. We've been saying it could go to $100. Virgin Galactic coming up in this live stream. You need patience. A short squeeze. We'll look at it right now. You need a certain number of volume trades and a certain number of short positions. Be prepared to sell. Know your price target. Manage your risk. Understand where we're going next. Delta. It's all about Delta. Everything is about Delta. The question is, why did you buy in the first place? Virgin Galactic. It's a long position. We've been going up to the moon, literally, on the edge of space, literally, and we've been patient and we've been waiting. This is Virgin Galactic. It's a long-term play, but it could all now be about to come together. What do you think? Are we coming into land? Sir Richard Branson thinks so. He's been buying and building his interests in the UK in Cornwall, getting ready for a UK spaceport. Sir Richard Branson, not the face of Virgin Galactic like he used to be, but he's still in the game. Are we about to get a short squeeze? We're going to discuss all that now, and it's come at a perfect time. The markets have been volatile and now exploding. People often say buy when there's blood on the streets. We got trade wars, we got inflation. Remember, inflation really affects Virgin Galactic. Their parts, the cost of their business has dramatically increased. But are we ready in the midst of a trade war between the United States and China? What about those parts that are arriving for Virgin Galactic? They've all got increasingly more expensive. Well, let's have a look at the numbers. I've got lots to share with you on this Virgin Galactic special. I've got full analysis here on the stock, what we think of it, what its valuations are. I've also got a letter directly from Virgin Galactic, a very exciting letter actually, but it also comes along with this. Investors are pouring 16 billion into the S&P 500 ETFs. VOO, my favourite. That's important. You need to understand all of that. So all that's coming up in this live stream, unedited, real for you, and I'll answer all your questions. We'll also share you a visual representation of the stock. Virgin Galactic, undervalued by 99%. Well, welcome to the show. It's a Virgin Galactic special. Thank you for tuning in. It's lovely to have you here. We're joined by the Lucasades in 69 countries in 14 languages around the world. Wonderful to have you here. And over there on the left, you'll see what's coming up next. EHang is on fire. Literally, EHang is on fire. That's coming next, right at the end of this live show. But now we're talking Virgin Galactic. Well, what do we need for a short squeeze? For a short squeeze, we need lots and lots of people to bet on the stock going down. It puts pressure on the stock, and then when it starts going up, people buy it. The bulls are buying it, and those bears that were betting against the company are forced to cover their positions by buying or losing all their money. So what do? They start buying. That is a short squeeze. But for that to occur, we need lots and lots of volume, lots of people buying, lots of people shorting, all at the same time to give ourselves the perfect recipe. Now, one of the most famous shorts in history was GameStop. GameStop had 100% short interest when it exploded. Doesn't require 100% though. It can require as little as 20%. Because once we hit 20%, we are excessive. Anything above there with volume can trigger a short squeeze. So how much volume do we have? Well, let's take a look at Virgin Galactic and I'll show you the exact level of interest that we indeed have. And then you can decide for yourself whether we are in the middle of a short squeeze or not. Here's Virgin Galactic. Before I give you the information, would you tap the like button, share this out? I've put it on all our social posts today so more people know what's going on. And if you'd like to subscribe, you are very much welcome and please do. So let's have a look at the short interest. It dropped off recently, but it's back up again. Short interest, 24%, 24.1. You may remember, I just said to you a few moments ago, anything over 20 could be seen as a short squeeze. We are 24. So we have potentially enough of a short interest to trigger and start a short squeeze. But do we have volume? Well, let's have a closer look at the volume. If we scroll right down here, keep on going, you'll see the average volume is 1.79 million. Now, a few moments ago, we were at 1.6 million. As I went live, we've jumped up 0.3 million. No surprise, we do have the largest retail investor community in the world for Virgin Galactic. We know that because we assembled the largest investors. I spoke to Andy Shovel and others who have 250,000, 500,000, million shares and all the rest of it in Virgin Galactic. And we put together a petition. You may remember we sent the petition to the team at Virgin Galactic, Eric Kearney and the CEO, Michael Colglazier, and we enacted change. We were asking them to save money, reduce costs, and they did, and they changed their policy. You may remember the live videos, the interviews with Eric Kearney, the live interviews with Andy Shovel, the petition we got signed, very much like the XRP petition. We got it done, we got it delivered, and we got action. So we do represent the largest retail investor community in the world. I speak to them on the phone. You've seen me have Andy Shovel and others live on the show. Brian Bynum has called in directly from the factory. You've seen all those things. You've heard of all the interviews that I've done with Bloomberg Television, and of course the interview I did with Eric Kearney many times. I think it was 4 or 5 times. All of that is on our channel, unedited, left there for you to go back and look at. So we've got 1.92 volume. So we're over average. Not enough for a full-blown short squeeze. So what do we need? We need interest. We need more people to buy. Hedge funds, recently, they were selling on Q2. We're now Q4. Not a lot going on. What about insiders? Are they buying? Not a lot of action going on there either. It's just retail interest. What we need now is more volume. We need more people to buy. And of course, that's where I come in. I can promote this and we'll rank #1 again on YouTube and Google again for Virgin Galactic. And again, I will tell you that this can short squeeze if we get enough interest. We got some decent interest a few months ago when a short squeeze could have occurred, but it gave up because people took profits like they're starting to do a little bit now and they stopped buying. We need people to buy. So what do we need them to buy? What could be something to get people to buy? And remember, I'm not pumping and dumping this stock. I only own the S&P 500. You saw me today live on my show and live on my socials, give you my 24th trade and my 24th win. And I can now tell you, since then, I bought back the 8 shares. I'm a long-term investor, but I bought back. I've been simply trimming, exactly the same as Warren Buffett will do. Trim off the top to bring down my average, to rebalance my portfolio, to bring things back in line and manage my risk. Hopefully you've all seen that video I did earlier on today. but I've bought back in. I sold at these levels, bought back in here, and I'm holding those positions. What have I done? Well, I've lowered my average. If you look at my average earlier from this morning, you will see, if you're going back and look, my average has come down on VOO. It's 494.69 now, and here is my position. I'll just share this with you on the screen. There is my latest position. You can see I sold for 495.40. Cost me 3,963, and I bought back at 492. Cost me 3,939. Not a lot, but enough to make a difference, to bring the average down without it costing me any money in tax or losses or gains. That is trimming, and that's exactly what Warren Buffett did when he reduced his 0.01 of his VOO and SPY. So that's what I've been up to. Now, this is important to Virgin Galactic because there's lots and lots of FOMO right now. The space sector is one of those. We just need enough people to talk about Virgin Galactic and we squeeze. It's up to you. Now then, I'm going to bring you a letter from Virgin Galactic, some news, some information, and then we have a special event. You can see it beneath me here on the big screen coming up in a few moments' time. At the end of this, it's literally EHang is on fire. Literally on fire. And you'll get to see that in a few moments. Please tap the like button, consider subscribing to our channel, and let's talk about Virgin Galactic in more detail. So I've shown you the short interest. It's going back up again. The volume's going back up again. We just need a little bit more. What can we do to throw some fire, some gas on the fire? Well, I can read you first of all my analysis. I put together analysis for you. I'm not going to read all the information about Virgin Galactic. You've seen all my videos before. If you want to pause the screen, and you can, and read that through. It's important to understand what Virgin Galactic is and what Virgin Galactic isn't. But I'm going to go down and go from here. I put this AI related analysis for you, and then I'm going to show you the letter from Virgin Galactic, why there's potentially more interest in the stock. Virgin Galactic's primary competitor in the commercial suborbital human spaceflight market is Blue Origin. However, it's of no competition at all. It's vastly more expensive. It's not reusable the same way Virgin Galactic is. It is reusable from the point of view that you come plopping down in the desert. But Virgin Galactic, of course, is a much more white gloves, very much more high class type of affair. Hang on, it's going up again. Just will bring this to you. It's gaining some speed now, and it's gaining some volume. I'll come back to that in a minute. We could be in the midst of a short squeeze with just a bit more volume. It'll begin. So Blue Origin isn't a competitor, and it's vastly more expensive, and it's never going to be as efficient and as effective as Virgin Galactic. It simply can't. Virgin Galactic offers a differentiated value proposition through its horizontal takeoff and landing system, which provides a familiar aeroplane-like experience. The use of high-altitude carrier aircraft for the initial stage of flight enhances the safety and efficiency of the spaceflight system, and that is key. Virgin Galactic's unique wing feathering system enables a controlled re-entry into Earth's atmosphere, and their hybrid rocket motor is designed for safety and reliability. The company also benefits from its exclusive access to Spaceport America, which provides advantageous launch conditions and restricted airspace for frequent flights. That is key. Now, what about our analysis here? First of all, valuation. Valuation is A-, doesn't get much better. Virgin Galactic's valuation is mixed. While its price-book ratio is substantially lower than the sector median, indicating a cheaper stock, its price-sales ratio is much higher, suggesting overvaluation relative to its peers. This is because it's not making any money just yet. However, that is vastly improving on every single earnings. And we are covering the earnings very, very soon. Look at that for growth. It's outperformed the analyst expectations who provided this analysis for me every time, and doing very, very nicely indeed. And in fact, our next Q earnings, Q1 of 25, is expected to potentially even take the company cash positive for the first time. It could happen. If it beats by similar amounts, it certainly could. On May the 6th, we will cover that live on the show. So don't worry about that. We'll be there live for that. So valuation is actually okay. In fact, it's better than okay. If you look at the cash on the books and the valuation of the rockets and the equipment, it's extremely good value. Potentially 99% undervalued, and I'll show you that in a moment. Growth shows impressive growth with a forward growth of 127%, significantly exceeding the sector's average of 5%. This indicates a strong expansion potential. Profitability. Space. SPCE struggles with profitability. Well, it will do. It's investing in itself at the moment, as shown by a negative return of total assets, -36, starkly below the median of 5%. This highlights inefficiencies in generating profit. It's not inefficiencies at all. It's building and investing for its future. So profitability will be great. Really great. Momentum. SPCE stock momentum is weak, with a one-year price performance decline of 90% compared to the sector's -17%. This reflects a bearish sentiment and declining investor confidence. Momentum is purely stock price. Going down presents opportunity. Momentum is bad, but good if you want to buy it, if you believe in what comes next with Delta. This is why I spoke about patience. Short squeeze, be prepared to sell, take some profit, trim along the way, manage your risk, Delta, but ask yourself, why did you buy in the first place? Revisions. Earning revisions are somewhat mixed. In the last 90 days, there have been 4 upward and 2 downward EPS revisions, indicating a cautious optimism from analysts, but not enough to change the overall negative sentiment. Remember, analysts can only go on what they know. They can't predict the future. They are telling you what we see right now. It's the same story for those that analyse Tesla. They can't price in Robotaxi. They can't price in Optimus because it doesn't really exist yet. So they can't really say much about it. That doesn't mean to say it's not coming. This is what Warren Buffett does. He looks for stocks that are undervalued, oversold, with great potential, and then he buys the business. Let's look at a letter we've just got from Virgin Galactic. Just received this. You might find this very, very interesting. If you can, tap the like button, consider subscribing. I'd very much appreciate it. So, is Virgin Galactic about to go to the moon? Well, it's quite possible as we take off with a short squeeze through space. You could find yourself stepping down the ladder. Once again, very few people find the hidden message in this. And there it is again. I've not had one person ever come back to me with the hidden message, but it is there. Virgin Galactic, let me show you the letter. Virgin Galactic Form DEF 14A proxy statement definitive. Let me bring you this here. I'll scroll down. I'm showing you as it was sent out. Here it is. Proxy statement. A notice of the annual meeting. Virgin Galactic will start to trend again soon. June the 5th, 25. This is coming up just after their earnings. I'm just going to double check that. Yes, it is. Their earnings is on May the 6th. Virgin Galactic sent this out to their investors. If you sign up for their information, you get this stuff. Message from our chairman. Dear fellow stockholders, I'll zoom in just a little bit just to make it a bit clearer for you. That's about as big as I can get it. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I cordially invite you to attend the 2025 annual meeting of stockholders of Virgin Galactic, which will be held on June the 5th, 25 at 9 a.m. Pacific time. In order to attend, you must register, blah, 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 blah. Okie dokie. I might even go along myself. Who knows? In accordance with the Securities and Exchange Commission, rules allowing companies to furnish proxy materials for their stockholders over the internet, we have sent a stockholders of record at the close of business, 9th of April 25, a notice of internet availability of proxy materials. The notice contains instructions on how to access our proxy statement, blah, 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 of our annual report online and all the rest of it. Let me just get to the main point. Please join us on June the 5th, 2025. Your vote is important to us. Whether you are a few shares or many, or whether you want to plan to attend the annual meeting, it's important that your shares are represented and voted in at the meeting. They want you to attend. This always brings attention to the stock whenever they send out their letter. Notice of annual meeting of stockholders to be held on June the 5th. The annual meeting is to be held to be elected, to ratify, loads of rah. Let me keep scrolling down. Table of contents. This is important. Let me go through this now. Highlights from the business, what they're achieving, voting roadmap, elector of directors, corporate governance, board structure, lots of stuff to share. I mean, I'm just showing you this because this draws attention to the stock once again. It's an annual event, and we did cover it last year, so it's worth just letting you know that this has gone out, and you might want to pay some attention because it once again start to get attention to the stock. At the time that we'll be announcing Delta updates, that comes in just a few days' time, but also the fact that we've got by this time, by June, we'll get the tariff information resolved, because Trump has said within 90 days it'll all be taken care of, and it affects Virgin Galactic specifically because they do import a lot of equipment. So we do want to see an update on that. So all that's coming at the same time. Now that's important, very, very important, linked with this information, and I particularly wanted to share this with you. Investors pour $16 billion into the S&P 500 ETFs VOO, my favorite, SPY and IVV since Liberation Day. Now, why is this important? Why am I mentioning this with Virgin Galactic? It's because the markets want to be bullish. They want to go up. And investors are pouring money. Remember, I've been saying for a long time, there's a lot of money on the sidelines waiting to come in. It's coming in. It's coming into ETFs like S&P 500, which is nice because that's what I've been advocating and promoting forever. This is what people should be doing, and investors are doing. Still have to trim along the way, remind you, but nevertheless, that's what's been happening. Now, this is good for Virgin Galactic because people are investing, bringing money in. They recognize we've hit a bottom, and speculative stocks like Virgin Galactic, when rates come down, which they will in May, just around the time of the earnings, just before the annual report, alongside a short squeeze because volume is coming into these sort of stocks, especially space. This is important to understand the broader markets. Why I'm mentioning all of this, I could just go on about Virgin Galactic and tell you all going to get rich in 5 minutes, which is what some people like to do on videos. However, I like to bring you the fundamentals around the economy and around the stock market. Wall Street, 3 largest exchange-traded funds. Now, VOO didn't used to be one of the largest. It is now. And I'm very happy if we've played a small part in that. I know many of my members and investors now and my viewers are buying VOO who didn't buy VOO before. So that's great. Have collectively attracted more than $16 billion in investor inflows since April the 2nd, Liberation Day, by President Donald Trump. The surge in inflows come despite heightened market volatility as tariff news has scared many investors. Retail investors are buying the S&P 500. I love this. It's a change in the way things are done. Normally, retail investors flee and they give up, but this time they're buying VU. They're literally doing what I'm doing. This is wonderful to see. Much more wise, savvy investors are now coming into the markets. The surge in inflows comes despite heightened market volatility. As tariff news has scared many investors, the benchmark S&P 500 has declined 5.5% from its April 2nd peak and dropped as much as 15.1% at its lowest point during that period. The so-called Big Three ETF issuers, Vanguard, State Street and BlackRock, have seen a combined 16.68 billion flow into their flagship S&P 500 funds. The Vanguard VU, which is my favorite by far. SPY only makes sense if you are a professional trader with millions of trades and you want the extra liquidity. That's why you'll pay more for the management fees. Or IVV, not too bad, but VU, in my opinion, is the better option. But to be honest, all three are going to be the same for everybody unless you trade millions and millions of trades and have millions and millions of dollars. You're hardly going to know a difference. Since April the 2nd, Vanguard's VU, the world's largest ETF, with 559. Now, remind yourself how important that is. It used to be SPY. And again, I'm a very small channel, but I do have nearly 78,000 subscribers that watch every day. I think we've played a small part, very small part, but a small part indeed. Every step makes a difference. Every subscriber, every person makes a difference. That's what we're all about. And you can see VU is now, it didn't used to be, only recently become the world's largest ETF. Under management, led the way with 13.17 billion. Now I've got 350 million of that. Sorry. I've got 360,000 now. Oh, sorry. Wrong. I stand corrected. $370,000. Not that far off, $500,000 of that just on myself. In net inflows, SPY followed with 15.86 in new capital. In contrast, BlackRock's IVV experienced net outflows totaling 12.35 during the same time frame. Yes, people are moving to VU for very good reason. On Wednesday, the S&P 500, along with VU and IVV and SPY, rose by a total of 1.7 as a wave of positive developments from Washington boosted investment. Now, I'm not going to go on any more about this. This is about Virgin Galactic. But if you are investing in any stock, you need to understand why and what's going on in the broader market. It's a reason why today I put a video out, a live stream explaining my strategy using tax lots to trim my position. Very similar to what Warren Buffett did recently. Doesn't change my opinion and my view long-term investing on long-term investing on the S&P 500, but you do have to trim to improve your position, which is what I've done today. I've improved. I've now got more money. I've reduced my margin. I've improved my cost basis. I've lowered my average, and I'm in a stronger position just by doing it and paying no tax and actually posting a small profit as well, but inside my capital gains limit, so I'll pay no tax on that. All of these things are important. They're important to know, and they will benefit your understanding of Virgin Galactic, because a short squeeze can happen with just a little bit more volume. Now let's see if we've got any more volume. I need to refresh Virgin Galactic, go out and back in again. Let's see if our volume has increased. I will predict it has. I'm very confident it will have done. And it has significantly. This is exactly what we're expecting. Again, you know, I communicate with the world's largest retail investors. You've seen me do it on the show. Andy Shovel, the others. And we know that they're buying. I know because I talk to them. They follow me on X and Instagram and we have conversations. You've seen them live on the show. They're buying. Our average is 1.79. We're at 2.27. If this continues, Virgin Galactic will short squeeze. It's inevitable. It's just down to you whether you choose to hold and not trim off. However, you need to have patience. You need to understand why a short squeeze will occur and the broader markets, where everyone's going, what everyone's doing, and the fact that people are putting their money into VU and the S&P 500. At the bottom, where I bought the bottom, and I showed you how to time the bottom successfully, always win. Today, the 24th trade, the 24th wins. Remember, it's a long-term strategy. I'm still down overall. I lost 30 grand on Virgin Galactic, but we're focusing on a longer-term plan. Be prepared to sell if you want to trim. Nothing wrong with doing that. However, if you do and others do it, it just won't short squeeze. You need that volume to continue in the upward trajectory. Manage your risk. Delta is the key. We'll learn about that from the investors meeting, the annual meeting, and the earnings coming up shortly. And why did you buy in the first place? Remember, it was always a long-term plan. 2026 is when it all comes good. Can you wait till then? Well, that's up to you. So I'm now going to go very quickly to members' questions. And this will go out as its own video shortly, so I will end it properly, taking you into a video that's premiering in a few minutes' time. In fact, I might end this early and bring that video forward, depending on how many questions I have. So let's go to our members' questions and see what we have. Good afternoon all, says Stephen Lewandowski. Good afternoon to you. Walker wonders why. Can you add some colour about SPCE? Yes, the colour purple. You can see it on the screen right now. Happy birthday, YouTube. 20 years old today. Hey, happy birthday to my boss. Wonderful. Didn't even know that. Thanks for letting me know. Hi, Brian. S and P and C and E. Zaxay, one of our biggest investors in S&P. SPCE, beg your pardon. Me at the zoo. How do you do? What's going on there? I've no idea. Lucas A's, James 007, please smash the like button. Wonderful stuff. Have I got any questions on SPCE? Good evening, Zach. Good afternoon, family. Hello, world and SPCE folk. Brian Bynum, I just mentioned him. We had him on the show. He was live at the factory. Good afternoon, everyone. Denise Bruckner, huge thanks to you for sharing everything I do on X. Wonderful. We, of course, use all our social media to share our information. This is my job. This is what I do. My job is to share the information. This is how I live. This is my job. So I post on those places. So thank you for sharing and alerting everyone to the information and news. Thank you so much indeed. So I want to thank you, Denise, for sharing. I do notice all the things that you share. Brian, Zach, good afternoon. Release the first Delta. That's what it's all about. Denise, good afternoon. Hi, everyone. MSK is here. How are we? Movie. Sure, LEB, don't be too optimistic. Still 30% down on the month. Indeed, it's a long plan. I know. I went from $30,000 down on Virgin Galactic to the bottom of this big dip with Trump, $60,000 down. I'm now down just $35,000. A massive turnaround. A huge turnaround. It's not where we are today, it's where we'll be in the future. My job is to acquire more stock, not to be concerned about the stock price going down. Warren Buffett would often say, doesn't care about the ups and downs of the market, he cares about owning the businesses. We buy it to make us money for the future. This is only 14 months in since I rebalanced my portfolio. Of course, I'm going to be down. It takes time. But now we're making it back tenfold. And when I started with one share, let's imagine I had one share at $1, one share at $10, say, for example. I've now got 1 million shares at $1. My averages are coming down and I have more shares. That's what investing is all about. It's about acquiring more stock for the future price. Get to the chopper. Brian, good evening all. Henrik, and of course, good evening to all affiliators. LEB, good afternoon. Hey up banana heads. Man, that would be awesome if it went to 100. It certainly can. Will it go there? Well, that's up to you. That's up to you and investors to buy and hold and Delta being successful. But it certainly can with everything going on. We need rates to come down. They're coming down. We need tariffs to be resolved. They're going to be resolved. They're already moving in that direction. And then we need a few people just to get a bit excited and buy a little bit more Virgin Galactic. And we short squeeze. And we'll go straight to $10 as an initial starting point. All right? Why don't I buy? So often people say, why don't I buy? Because I'm not here for what benefits my portfolio. I'm doing what's best for my audience. Who would trust what I was saying if I just simply was telling you what I wanted to tell you to benefit myself? I'm not in Virgin Galactic. I'm only in the S&P. But I do care about all of you making money. And that's why I bring you these live videos. But if I was in the stock, I would just be a pump and dump channel promoting what I own. Me promoting the S&P 500, we like to joke, makes a difference, but of course it doesn't. I would have to own billions and billions of shares to be able to move the S&P 500. I'd have to be richer than Warren Buffett. So of course I don't move the S&P, but I could move Virgin Galactic if I bought enough, and then I'd be a pump and dump channel like Roaring Kitty. No interest in doing that. Man, that would be awesome. Yes, it would. Good evening, LEB. Vaz, yes, we missed you. Vaz is coming up in a couple of minutes. I've been too busy doing a lot of work. Henrik DJ, you got a level on where to start trimming and taking profit? Have I got a level? I'm not in Virgin Galactic, so I've got no level. But Sensei will give you the technical levels. He called in today. He was live in the mornings. He was live this morning. He might be live tomorrow morning. You never know, but he's always live on Sundays. He's the person to ask for the technical chart. If I was buying Virgin Galactic, I'd be buying it and owning it. And I'd be taking it to 100, and I'd buy enough to move it. Trust me, I'd buy enough to move it. I can definitely move it. If I sold all my positions today, I would have $370,000 to move it. And that would move Virgin Galactic, definitely. And if I called Andy Shovel and a few others, we could put $1 million in this today and we would move it. Definitely, 100% we would move it. But I'm not doing that because I would be a pump and dump YouTuber, and that's not what I do. Hello all, Walker wonders why. 95 watching and climbing. 11 likes. Oh, you need to hit the like button. Thank you, Dennis Bruckner. I appreciate that. Yes, everyone please tap the like button. I'm not doing our usual game because I'm trying to make this into a video for later. First trimmed for me is 1780 old money, 355 new money. I love it. Very good to mention that as well. Buy space, SPCE. You will literally go to the moon. Virgin Galactic Holdings, said Joshua James. Happy St. George's Day, everyone. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Glad somebody mentioned that on the show. SPCE over XRP. Says Joshua, my two biggest holdings, 90% Space, 10% XRP. Martin, the lots are only for the Roth, correct? No. Lots are for the brokerage. You don't have tax lots on a Roth IRA because it's tax-free. The lots are on the brokerage. I'm going to watch the video later when I can focus. Jason, it's the most important live stream video I have made all year. I'm going to show everybody now, and I'll also point everybody watching this video later on as well. If we go to the home page of the channel, here we go, and we go to past live streams. We scroll down, scroll in, scroll in, scroll in, scroll in, scroll in, scroll in. Mike, past live streams, win strategy. No XRP, no clickbait. It was designed specifically for my members. It wasn't to be a rah-rah video. It wasn't to be doom and gloom. It wasn't to predict anything special or say anything particular. Just win strategy. For real investors that want to take the time to learn about a winning strategy. Since I rebalanced my portfolio, 24 trades, 24 wins, you got to trim, you got to look at the tax implications and know your goal and look forward. And in this video live, I explain my strategy, what I've done today, and now I'm updating you, telling you that I've now bought back the 8 shares that I sold this morning for a couple of bucks lower. I've got a slight profit, which won't be any tax implication because it's way below my tax bracket of capital gains. I've lowered my average, I've improved my position, and I've reduced my risk and margin and got back the 8 shares at a better price. That's the benefit of tax lots. Please go and check that video out. For those watching now, I'll give you the link at the end and below in the description. You really do need to see that video. It's very, very important. Tap the like button, help spread the space news. Shall we do it? Shall we pump Virgin Galactic? We can. That split killed me. Nice, Kent. I'm only 1564. I'd be happy going to 100. Margin, says Val. It's his one word. DJ Hayes, but we appreciate him a lot. I'm holding a nice round figure of 1,000 space shares. Never be focused on the number of shares you own. What if you had 1,000.1 and you bought a fractional share? Don't focus on that. It will make you not want to sell or want to buy. Don't focus on that. Focus on the money that you've invested and how much of the business you own with that money. Got 10,000 shares of Mobic, says Kent Paranormal. Lovely stuff indeed. It went down to 100. If I'm not sure I would be able to keep holding. If it went to 100, I'm not sure I'd be able to keep holding. Well, you would if you understood the business and how much money it was making at the time. You're very welcome. Denise, I appreciate you. We have a prize for the best Lucozade at the end of the year. What happened with my Mercedes review? You've seen, it's not been forgotten. It's at the very top of the list. Unfortunately, news has overtaken what's happened today, but I can tell you it's at the top of the list. So you're seeing, you will get your review. It's at the top of the list. Martyn, there's a great video out for Win Strategy. Yes, I've just shown you where it was. I'm trying to sell a bathroom remodel and I'm concentrating on your show. Okay, I think I've got through enough of the comments and questions. I will now open it up to the general public. We like to give our subscribers the opportunity to have their say as well. So there we go. Anyone can call in. Anyone can ask me anything. Anything you want to know about my portfolio, you can call in. However, we're coming to the end of our show right now. We have a world premiere coming up in a few seconds' time. So I'm going to lead everybody to that. This is the event we have got in a couple of seconds. Literally a special here. EHang is on fire. You've got to watch this. Let me give you the link. It's one of Vaz's special videos. It'll go live in a moment. Never been seen before. Brand new video. There it is in the chat. It's also pinned to the top. It'll automatically take you there in just a couple of minutes. And what I'm going to do, because I have finished a little early, is I'm going to bring that live stream forward. Shall I do that or shall I not? Do you know what? I'm not. I'm going to leave it where it is because it will give me a chance to share it on my social platforms. So there we go. It doesn't look like anyone wants to comment. That is a general subscriber, and that's perfect. That means we can end our live stream. I will see you back in the premiere in a few moments. Join me for the world premiere. It's about to go live in just a couple of seconds. I will be in there in the chat with you talking live, so you can talk to me directly. At the end of the live stream, at the end of the live video, the premiere, it'll take you to the extra channel where you can once again talk to me in there as well. I will join you there. All right, there we go. The overall portfolio is coming down slightly today. It was a lot higher than this earlier, hence why I trimmed off the top and bought lower and lowered my average. We're expecting another downturn, as much as 10% down. So I'm trying to bring all my cost basis of all of my VU down lower to match the new bottom. It could very well set a new bottom. So we need to be able to adapt, keeping our positions, in fact, gaining more, but reducing our cost basis. Okay. Thank you very much indeed. Have we got any comments want to share? Please continue to cover SPCE. I learned so much from you and have connections to it. Stephen Mariano, I absolutely will. Welcome soon to be members. 98% of our live viewers are members, more than any channel in the world. Go and check your social and analytics videos, websites. You can see that yourself. Jim Harding says, I repeatedly see an ad of Warren Buffett offering membership of his WhatsApp group. That's not him. That's not real. That's ridiculous. Joining but wanted everyone's opinion. No. Warren Buffett does not promote, does not have a WhatsApp group. Jim Harding, that's a complete load of nonsense. Don't do that. Martyn, what is the Delta connection? What do you mean, what is the Delta connection? Delta is what it's all about. It's the new upgraded efficiency so they can ramp up flights and be more cost effective. That's what Delta is all about. It's not a connection with Delta Airlines. Is that what you're assuming, is it? I think that's what you're saying. Matt Dillon, Martyn, I had an idea of a business and passed it by Grok AI, and it told me that I had hit on an untapped resource, a 15 billion market share industry. That's funny. I'll give you that one. Yeah. So yes, yeah. Delta Airlines has nothing to do with what this is. Right. Okay. That's it. Thank you very much indeed. I'm going to send it back over to members once again. Thank you very much indeed. I gave everyone the chance to comment. We're now in members only mode once again. Now then, join me now for the world premiere. You don't want to miss it. Virgin Galactic is selling very, very quickly now into the close. You know what happens on Thursdays. If you followed my show, you know what happens with Virgin Galactic on Thursday. You know who buys, you know who sells. You understand that now. So there we go. People taking profits at the end of the show. It rallied when we went live, and now we're finishing. People taking profits once again. Well, you've got to hold on. That's why I shared you all this information at the beginning. Patience, short squeeze, be prepared to sell, manage your risk, Delta, not Delta Airlines. And why did you buy in the first place? To scratch a few pennies here and there, or sit at the king of your own table and take some real profit. Isn't that what investing should be about? Right. Click above my head for all the links down below in the description. Join me now. I shall put down the win video. You can always win. If you follow that strategy, you can always win. There's no reason to ever lose. In fact, it's easy to make money. The hard part is to keep it. So can you do that? Join me now for the EVTOL. eHang is literally on fire. That goes live in a couple of minutes. It'll take you there automatically. I'll put all the links above and below. The link is in the chat. Over here, I shall put the event of eHang on fire. Join me for a live premiere. And down here, I shall put the win video, which I recorded live, unedited this morning. Hope you enjoy it. That's it from me. I will see you now on the live premiere and back in the morning for the opening bell. Have a wonderful evening. Join me on the premiere. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.